know the why human trafficking work is needed? To fight for the freedom of modern-day slaves. But love, passion, commitment isn't all you need to be an effective and successful anti-trafficking advocate. Learn the how. I'm Dr. Celia Williamson, Director of the Human Trafficking and Social Justice Institute at the University of Toledo. Welcome to the Emancipation Nation podcast, where I'll provide you with the latest and best methods, policy, and practice discussed by experienced experts in the field so that you can cut through the noise, save time, and be about the work of saving lives. Welcome to the Emancipation Nation episode 156. I'm Dr. Celia Williamson, and today we have back with us the incredible Anna Schramm, who organizes our annual International Human Trafficking and Social Justice Conference. So welcome back, Anna.
Hey, Celia, you can't get rid of me too easily.
I know. So this time, as promised, we wanted to come back and talk about our annual youth summit. So can you tell the people what that even is?
Yeah, so we have a high school human trafficking and social justice summit that we do always the day before our main international conference. This year will be our 9th high school summit. So it was like 9 years ago when we were around like our 10th annual international conference. I think you guys realize that, okay, it's really good to be educating all of these professionals, all of these community members, researchers, but the people who are, affected by this or who could be at risk for being trafficked are the youth. And so we need to take a step back, maybe do a little bit of prevention. So we started having a high school youth summit, and it's just grown from there. And if you've paid attention to the names of our things over the past couple of years, we just this year switched it to be called a National High School Human Trafficking and Social Justice Summit. So,
because why is that?
Yes, because now we're considered national. So, with COVID and having to switch to virtual, our main conference is virtual, but our high school summit is also virtual as well. So we've been able to reach about a dozen states over the past couple of years who've participated in the high school summit. So we are officially a national summit now, which is
that's really right. That's awesome. I can't wait until we go global one day. But yes. I remember years ago, I went to a presentation and I don't even remember because they all bunched together. And I usually the day before or a couple days before, I really get focused in what I'm presenting and where I'm going. And I remember walking into the room, it was in Ohio, and everybody in the audience were high school students. And I had no idea that was going to be the case. And I asked them and they said, oh, we do this every year. It's like a social justice, like Human Rights Day or something like that. And I thought, I am totally stealing that idea. That's a great idea. So if you're out there in Ohio and you have some kind of Human Rights Day, thank you very much, because that was a great idea. So now we've been doing it the last 9 years. It's been mostly Ohio-based schools. And now, like Anna said, since we've gone online, it's just the word has spread, all across at least a few states. So if you're out there listening, we want to continue to expand it. So how do schools, I'm imagining we get involved with schools, right? That's how this works?
Yeah. The best way to get high schools involved is, to talk to the administrators and the teachers who, because the summit is on a school day during the week. It's on a Tuesday. It's during school hours. So, getting those administrators and teachers on board to incorporate it into their schedule is the best way to do it. I did want to mention that high school registration is free, unlike our main conference. Yes. So anybody who wants, any students who want to attend, along with any of their teachers, school administrators, school counselors, it is free for high school students to attend. I always like to say, for administrators and counselors who are thinking about attending only themselves, that can be helpful, but it is going to be more beneficial to bring students with you. The day is really geared towards the high school youth.
Yeah.
All the topics, just the flow of the day is really geared towards having students participate, be involved, and learn. So, it is nice that the administrators, teachers, counselors can come for free too. But the point is, bring your students along with you to learn
Yeah.
and participate.
It's really going to be focused. The content is going to be focused for teenagers. And so the place to really go is our traditional Human Trafficking and Social Justice Conference. And you can find that at traffickingconference.com. We talked about that a couple of episodes ago. So you could go back to that episode and learn all about the traditional conference that we have for the adults and all the continuing education units you can get. And the price for that is not free, but it's pretty cheap. And we talked about that a couple episodes before. But the high school summit, totally free. Like how can we even afford to do that? I don't know. Why do we do that? Why is it free?
We are able to do it because we have some amazing sponsors that we have that, so we're able to do it that way. And we just think it's really important to be able to educate the youth. Obviously, students, they may have jobs, but like they're not able to pay for this. Like it's more important for us to get this information to the youth and teens and people in schools. So we just, we realize that it needs to be free.
Absolutely. We're getting paid, but we're getting paid in future potential. Like we're investing in future potential. We're hoping that people learn about human trafficking, learn about their human rights and social justice, and they go out and make the world a better place. And there is not a price tag that you can put on that. So we're making an investment and we're hoping that that investment pays off in the future. So what's the date of the Youth Summit?
Yeah, it's Tuesday, September 20th. So yeah, like I mentioned, it is during the week. It is from 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. So during those school hours. If you are wanting to attend the high school workshop, if you are a student listening to this, if you're involved in a school and you want to attend, but I know it's at the very beginning of the school year and sometimes it's hard to work that into schedules, or if you're in a different time zone. We've had some students, schools from like Texas, California, and being 3 hours behind, that is like really early in the morning. So I would still encourage you to register for the conference or for the high school summit, because one of the things that we are doing is for everybody who's registered for that, we're going to send out the recording of the entire summit to you afterwards. So if you can only attend a half day, or if you can't attend that day but want to take advantage of the material later, still register for the high school summit. That recording is not going to be made publicly available, but will be sent out to those teachers and schools who register for that day.
And before we talk about the content of the summit, is it possible that a teacher who's planning this summer, planning their fall schedule and activities, is it possible for them to split it up? Say they want to show their class one session this day and another session the next day, or is that possible for them to do?
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't be able to do that with the live summit, but they'll be able to have access to that recording. And if they only want to watch the first session or like the first bit of one session in one class this day, the next week you watch another session. And so you can kind of like space it out over the course of a quarter or semester, however you want to do it. But you still need to make sure that you register for it so you get access to that video.
And if they're live, of course, it's going to go all day long. But if I want my class to just see this one particular session, am I available to do that too?
Yes, I see what you're saying. So yeah.
Well, no, I didn't think I hadn't thought of that earlier until you said that.
Oh yeah. So yeah, if you are only able to attend like the morning session just for an hour. You can just attend that live. Those schools on the West Coast, the beginning of your day will be like the afternoon of our day. So if you just want to tune in on the later end to be there live, you can feel free to do that, hop in and out as you please. So yeah, you just might not get access to, well, like you wouldn't have heard any of the things that happened live before, but being there live is good because we are going to have a lot of interactive elements for the high school students. It's very hard as adults to sit in front of a computer for many hours at a time, let alone youth. So we are definitely incorporating a lot of like fun quizzes and games and discussion boards. So that's, the main pull of being there live is to be able to participate in those interactive elements.
And so talk to us a little bit about the topics. What are the topics going to be this year?
Yeah. So we always start off our day with a human trafficking 101 type of presentation, just to make sure that everybody's kind of on the same page. There are some students who know what trafficking is. There are some who've never heard of it before. So we have a group, Aura Freedom. They do a lot of prevention work for youth, and they always come in and do a great job. So they talk about what human trafficking is. They also go a lot into what healthy relationships are, which that's, my favorite thing too, because we know that like a risk factor of trafficking can be like toxic relationships and things that happen in those toxic relationships. So knowing how to identify a healthy relationship, whether that's a friendship, a romantic relationship, like that's really cool. So they talk about that at the beginning of the day. And then we always have some sort of human trafficking survivor talk about their experience. So this year we have Barbara Freeman, who is a sex trafficking survivor, and she's going to talk to us about her experience and her story, and then what she's doing now as a thriver. So I'm excited for her. Mm-hmm. The youth always love hearing the stories because it really brings it home and puts a face to what's going on. And youth do not hold back. They will ask any sorts of questions. I've talked to some survivors before who are open to answering questions, and they love talking to youth because adults sometimes are like timid to ask certain questions, but the kids will just be like, so what was this like? Or how did you get into this? And so they always really love those survivor presentations. Then we have this is our first time we're doing sort of like a research type of session during the high school day. But Dr. Heather Evans, who is very engaging, and I think she's going to be a great presenter. She's going to talk about research that she's done with survivors. So again, bringing in some more of those survivor stories, and she uses art with the survivors in her research, and the survivors take pictures and they use art kind of just like tell their story and then what they're going through now and their growth afterwards. So she's going to share a lot of that, and I think I'm hoping she'll do it in a way where the research isn't going to be boring. So that'll be a good session for them. And then we always end the day with some sort of, okay, now that you've heard this information, what do you do now? So it's like, how can you be an advocate in your school, in your community, things like that. So we always end the day with one of those types of presentations.
Yeah, I love that, because really it's the young people who are going to take over. They're the solution. Oh, yeah. And so getting them involved now is smart, like having them own their power. That's another sort of indirect way of keeping them safe. Having them learn about the topic enough to teach about the topic or to get involved in activism against the topic. I think it's all just great. And so you said earlier that there are going to be some kind of activities involved. Talk about that.
Yeah, so we are doing this like quiz game throughout the entire conference or the entire summit. And we're going to have some check-in questions and then questions based off of what the presenter was just talking about to see if the students were listening. So they're going to kind of be involved in this day-long quiz competition, and there'll be leaderboards on who answered the questions correctly. You also get like bonus points for answering quickly. So it'll it'll be fun, a good way to just keep them involved and paying attention during the day. We also have some like discussion board things that we use where people can post like anonymous comments, anonymous questions. We can talk about those. So I think it'll be good. Each year we try to make it more engaging, more exciting. We're doing our best. So I'm hoping that they like these new elements we're doing this year.
That's cool. And it's going to be via Zoom. So
Yes.
they'll just be able to get the Zoom link and then click into the live session if they want to. And can the young people then ask questions, or they have an opportunity to ask questions throughout or at the end of each session, or when?
Yeah, they'll be able to ask questions anytime throughout the summit, but there will be like a designated time after, like at the end of each session, where if they have questions for that presenter, they'll be able to ask those.
Oh, cool. And then what about you? We're doing something special this year to really ramp up the number of people that can get young people in classrooms to get involved. So what's the latest thinking on how to get classrooms involved in the conference? I mean, in this.
Yeah. This is the first year we've done anything like this, so it's exciting. We introduced a mentor discount. So for adults who are interested in attending the main conference, but who are connected to high school students, who are connected to schools in their communities, or even like after school programs where a lot of youth are, if this adult refers 25 kids who actually register for the high school summit.
And that's basically a classroom. That's just
right. 25. Yeah. That's like one classroom. They get 50% off their main ticket to the main conference. So that's like a little over $100. So 50% off of that. And then if you refer 50 students who register for the high school summit, you get free registration. So the first time that we've ever offered free registration in this way. So yeah, if you are connected to schools, if you know students, or if you're connected to like after school programs anywhere that high school students are, if you can get them to register for the high school summit, you could get free registration to the conference, which is $225. So
and what is that? That's just getting 2 classrooms or something, 2 health classes. So that's not hard. And it is helping young people to equip them to become empowered. And, there's knowledge and power and knowledge. And
right. So you're not only getting the benefit of free registration, but you're also helping to educate and empower the next generation of leaders.
Right. And so if they are interested in that, in getting themselves involved in that kind of competition, how do they even let you know that they're doing that or have done that?
Yeah, we have information about that on our website. There's a form that you'll fill out. We also have a link tree, which is just, so our link tree is just high school summit. So you can find the request form on there, and you basically just fill out your name, your email address, your information, the name of the school where the kids come from, and how many students you are referring. So then we'll get all of that information from you. And then we do need those students to then register for the high school summit, which that information is also on our website.
And it doesn't matter if they attend live or if they attend the recording?
Correct. Yep. As long as they register, because again, I know maybe it's late notice. They might not be able to, the whole 2 health classes might not be able to attend that live. But if they register for it, and watch the recording, that does still count for the mentor discount.
I think that's awesome. That's a brilliant idea. So talk about the the poetry slam, the art competition. We do this regularly every year, but talk about those.
Yeah, so this will be our 4th year of doing a poetry slam and art competition, which is really exciting. I think, so it was 4 or 5 years ago, we had a group of students who attended our high school day, and their leader came up to us afterwards, and he was like, this was really exciting. This was a great day, but it was a little boring. And And you need to figure out a way to have youth participate in this day. Maybe use art and poetry as a way to get them to participate. And so we're like, yes, we love that idea. Can you help us? So from that conversation, we have done this poetry slam and art competition every year. We have gone national with that as well, because it is virtual. Anybody across the country can submit to participate in that. And it's a really great way to encourage youth to use their creative voice to make a difference in the world on these like issues that are really important to them. There have been so many social justice issues that have come to the forefront in the last several years, and youth have really been a huge part of those movements, which is really exciting. And so this is just another way for them to get involved, to feel empowered, and not to just go to an event and hear from adults talking to them the entire time. They get to participate in it themselves, and they get to hear, if they don't want to participate, they can at least hear from some of their peers. So we do the competition about a week or so before the actual high school summit, where anybody who submits art or poetry that answers one of like 10 questions that we pose about human trafficking, all of those parameters can be found on our website. So we have this competition in Poetry Slam ahead of time, where we hear from all of the youth present their poem or piece of art. We have some judges who give feedback and vote on them, and then we have the finalists move on and they present their poem or art during the actual high school summit. So then all of those hundreds of youth from around the country are voting on which one is their favorite. So then it's by popular vote. So we have a winner for art and a winner for poetry, and the grand prize is $300. So the youth could, walk away not even, with like bragging rights, but also $300. So it's a great incentive to get them involved. And it's one of my favorite parts of, the whole conference week. It's really exciting. Celia, I know you've been a judge during those competitions, and it's
I love it.
really amazing how impressive these youth are when like their art skills and
So impressive. I love it. I love that now they can walk away with hard code cash. I love being a judge. Like, I'm not like Simon Cowell, but it's like one of those. But we're always very nice, because the art and the poetry is always just spectacular, really good. Like we've seen some really talented people, and we've seen some really simple poems, but that are profound. And we've seen some really simple art that really has a clear message. And who was the guy that told us that it's good, but it's a little boring? We need to spruce it up. Who was that?
That was Omar.
Omar. And yes. What do you remember his last name?
Sakur.
Okay, got to shout out to him, because thank you for your courage, because he was so nice and courageous in telling us, and it really made a significant change in the way we do things. So I love that. Speak truth, speak your truth.
Right.
And we have created changes based on that, and it's really been awesome. And these young people can use that on their college applications or job applications, or just their profiles and things like that, to even be included in something that is now national. And the art, the person that wins the art, that is shown then to the international conference folks, right?
It is, yes.
You mentioned
so that's
that.
on an international scale that you can show your artwork.
Yeah, I think that is also amazing, and all for free. So helping the young people become empowered, helping them learn, helping them grow, and then getting yourself into a conference potentially for free, where you can also learn and grow. I love the whole first full circle of the whole thing. So what's the age group? Because these are high school students. So are we encouraging junior high school students to come, or no?
No, we do just gear this day towards students who are in high school. So that's freshmen to seniors can come to this. And just because I know that youth can vary in maturity levels. There might be some very mature junior high students who might be more mature than seniors, but just overall, we do keep it a high school student only day.
Yeah, I mean, we can't and don't try to be all things to all people.
Yeah.
We focus on that high school group, and some of the content from year to year has been all over the place. We don't just stick, this isn't the same agenda every single year.
Right.
We might talk about toxic masculinity. We might talk about, what it means, what your gender roles might mean. I mean, what are some of the topics that we've had in the past that you can remember?
Yeah, we have had a forensic nurse examiner who's come and talk about rape kits and sexual assault, and that has been really powerful. That's one of the ones that sticks out in my mind because there were some students who were talking to each other in the back of that session and leaned over and was like, see, I told you should have gone and gotten that rape kit. And so like they're experiencing these issues that we're talking about. It's okay to talk to high school students about these issues because they're already experiencing them, whether adults talk about it or not. So we've had that. We've had people who've come and talked about their prison experience and reformation from that and social justice.
We had that one, somebody come and talk about sending pictures, nude pictures.
Yes, media. Yes, we've had some media focused ones. We've had a male labor trafficking survivor come and talk. So we do mix it up year after year because there are students who will come multiple years in a row. So they're getting different content every time.
Yeah, and so the idea is we need a maturity level enough to have these type of topics. And I know people out there will say, well, 12 and 13-year-olds are engaging. Yes, but we particularly want to be very careful not to traumatize somebody who's too young for the particular content. So like you said, not everybody has the same maturity level, but we're, hosting it specifically for a high school group.
Right. So, and like you said, we can't be all things to all people. So this is, our focus here is just the high school students.
Yeah, absolutely. So anything else, Anna, that we need to know about the high school summit or the youth summit?
I think we pretty much covered everything. If you are interested in learning more or want to register as a high school, or you want to use that mentor discount to get free registration, or even, interested in that poetry slam art competition, all of that information can be found on our website, which is traffickingconference.com. If you have any specific questions about things, you can email me at traffickingconference@gmail.com. And so, I'm really excited to see who's all going to be a part of this year's high school summit. It's going to be a great day and just really excited for it. Thanks for having me on here to talk more about it.
It's awesome. And is there a particular deadline for the poetry slam or the art competition or registration into the high school summit?
Yeah, great question. So the submissions for the Poetry Slam and Art Competition are due on Friday, September 9th. So we still have about a month and a half for that. And then registration to attend the high school day and for the main conference, registration last day is, I think it's a Tuesday, September 13th. So those two dates, September 9th, for the competition, September 13th for registration.
Awesome. Well, thank you once again, Anna, and it's going to be a fantastic year. I already know it. I'm excited about the art and poetry slam and just the young people. I mean, even the cool person who's going to sit back, all the way back in the classroom, it's so cool, it doesn't speak, this is lame, all of that stuff, that person will be listening. And when we were live, somebody would say, this is lame, this is stupid, or whatever. We noticed when that person walked out of the room, they didn't throw their materials in the garbage, they kept them. So whatever people might be saying, some of the feedback that we've received from young people has been amazing. Like they love the summit. And anything you recall that were on some of the evaluations?
Specifically, not anything too specific. I mean, I know they love hearing about the survivors every year. That's always the main thing. Last year, we got a lot of positive feedback about the poetry and the art, having those finalists. That was also one of their favorite things, I think, because they could hear from their peers and see what their peers were doing. Like I mentioned, youth will not hold back their questions or criticism. So we have had, when we were in person in our first year being virtual, some complaints about, it's not engaging enough. The presenters are talking too long. It's boring and blah, blah, blah. So we've, really used that and tried our best to incorporate those interactive, engaging aspects of the high school summit.
That's right. And we're very careful about who we choose to be presenters because they have to be really engaging people. Yes. Because you're right. I love that honesty, and they will bring that honesty to us. And so
they will. Yeah. They will tell us exactly what we need to do better.
And then we go and do it. So yes, we do. That's good. Okay. Well, so hopefully y'all out there will be able to get some classrooms to participate. I mean, that's a great way for you to be giving back and fighting against human trafficking, is educating young people. So till next time, the fight continues. Let's not just do something, let's do the best thing. If you like this episode of Emancipation Nation, please subscribe and I'll send you the weekly podcast. Until then, the fight continues.